Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, while we're still waiting for the others to show up, and I go over some other things, I'd like to go over with you the balance of the fall semester, at least for the two courses that I teach as well as the lab. This is today, Monday. Tomorrow we have the optional URI lab for those people that have signed up and that I've notified it's okay to go. Then you have the long Thanksgiving break. On Monday, when you come back after Thanksgiving, I will have your nuclear material science exam returned to you with a solution. On Tuesday of that week, we have the final 3 labs at URI for the Tuesday group. On Wednesday, December 1st, your reactive theory take-home exams will be due. On Thursday of that week, for the remaining students in the Thursday group, those 3 labs will be conducted. We go to the next week. On Monday, December 6th, we'll have class. Wednesday, December 8th, we'll have class. And then on Thursday of that week, which will be the 9th, I will allow you to give me 1 lab, if you choose to do so, for submission from URI, and I will thoroughly grade it. I will give it back to you with a grade on it. And again, if you're happy with that grade, I'm happy with that grade. If you want to look at what I've given you and say I can do better and resubmit that lab, that's fine. It'll also give you an idea of how I grade labs. Then we move into the final week. On Monday, December 13th, I plan to have both the reactive theory exam 4, nuclear material science exam 4 in class. So you'll have roughly 3 hours to do the both of them, and I'll size the exams accordingly. I'll also that day collect your notebooks. If you remember the notebooks, that's sort of your safety net. If you've been doing those all along for either course, this is when I'll collect them after you've had those last 2 exams. By 7 o'clock that night, I will have graded these 2 exams, plugged them into a little program I've set up so that I will have your draft grades for both courses, for reactive theory and nuclear material science. And I'll have added in everything. Extra credit you've done during the semester, I'll have looked at your notebooks if you turned anything in, anything and everything you've done. And so I will have those 2 grades posted. So for example, if you have reactive theory grade of a B, nuclear material science grade of a B+, if you're happy with those, I'm happy with those. If not, you have a chance to take a final exam in either of those 2 courses. And I'm going to set up the final exams for either Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, because again, I have to have all grades in by 4 o'clock on Friday. Again, if you're happy with this, I'm happy with this. If you want to take it again, a final exam to try to raise your grade, that's up to you. But remember, if you take the exam, you might also lower your grade if you don't do very well. The final exams for both of these are going to be comprehensive. That means they start from day 1. So the reactive theory exam is going to be 4 hours in length because it's a 4-credit course. Nuclear material science will be 2 hours because it's a 2-credit course. And again, the choice of whether you take it is up to you. And I'll start doing those exams on Wednesday, or if you choose that you want to do them Thursday and Friday, I will use Wednesday as a review date for either or both exams, depending on what you want to do. All of the 5 required URI labs are due by 4 p.m. on this Thursday, which is December 16th. Also, if you do submit the optional lab for extra credit, that will also be due then. Friday the 17th, I have to have all grades to the registrar by 4 p.m. So obviously, if you get me any of these labs earlier, I'll be more conducive to giving you a good grade on them because it takes the pressure off me for doing everything within a day. Do I have any questions on what we're going to do? Also, your reactive theory exam is going to be due on Wednesday the 1st, so you have 9 days to work on it. However, when we start class up again on Monday the 29th, December 1st, December 6th, for each of those days, I plan to give you at least one, if not two, take-home quizzes because we have to cover Chapter 10, which is dynamic reactor, and we have to cover cantilever beams and Moore circle for nuclear materials. So you are going to have quizzes. So I would encourage you to try to wrap up your exam before we get to Monday, but you still have until the start of class on that Wednesday for turning in that exam. Any questions on any of that?
Do we have class this Wednesday, Professor?
This Wednesday? No.
Correct. Okay.
Historically, this Tuesday and this Wednesday of Thanksgiving break week are set aside for makeup days if you have missed a day earlier in the semester due to storms, hurricanes, power outages, whatever. Typically, they're not used. That's why I've always used this Tuesday as the optional lab day to go to URI. Okay.
I got a question.
Yes?
So, on that Tuesday of the last week, yeah, is that for optional?
There is nothing scheduled for that Tuesday.
So,
So when you walk out of class, when you complete your 2 exams on this Monday, there is no other required meeting for us for the rest of this semester.
I thought you said that it's for optional.
I can't understand you. You're breaking up.
I thought you said the exams were optional.
Final exams are optional. But I have to give you your grades by 7 o'clock Monday night, and then you have to get back to me to say, do you want to take the exam or not? And then I will set the exam up on either Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, depending on your schedule. So if I have 3 people that want to take the reactor theory exam, I'll try to find a common time where all 3 of you could take it. And it might be Wednesday afternoon from 12 to 4 o'clock, who knows? We will find a common time to do it. Same thing for the reactor nuclear material science. That's a 2-hour exam. So if there are 4 of you that want to take it, I will find a time during these 3 days that you're available and I can give you the exam. But once we leave on this Monday, when you turn in your exams, we have no additional required meetings. Any other questions on the schedule?
Okay, last question. I get that they are optional, but would it lower my grade if I don't take them?
If you took the final exam and you didn't do well, yes, it would lower. Your final exam is worth 20% of your ultimate grade.
But if I went to take them, it would go down?
If you took it and you stunk it up, yes, it would go down. That's your decision to make once you see what that grade is. And again, I'm going to add these 2 exams. I'll collect your notebooks for anybody that has done notebooks. If you do not want to take the final exam, you will get whatever you have for your draft grade Monday night. It's just that simple. So you've had a lot of options along the way, extra credit that you could have done for presenting your quizzes, to doing optional things that I had you do during the semester, to turning in your notebook on that Monday to raise whatever this draft grade might be. Okay. Any other questions on the schedule? If you have any grade in either of these 2 courses that is your draft grade and you're happy with it, you do not have to take the final. All the finals are optional final exams. So if you got a C on reactive theory and you're happy with that, I'm happy with that, and that will be your final grade. But if you decide you want to take the final, we'll set up the final, you'll take it, and then I will average that in to come up with your term grade for that course. For the labs, I will add the 5 required labs, I will grade them, I will average them, and that is your grade unless you're doing the optional lab tomorrow by attending, that's extra credit, or you submit the write-up for that lab, which is extra credit. And speaking of the lab tomorrow, we have the one time between 10 and 12. I had originally asked everybody to get back to me by 1 o'clock last Thursday, because I wanted to work out with URI exactly what the schedule would be for that optional lab. If we had a large number of people, we're going to have 2 sessions, one at 10 to 12 and one from like 1 to 3. I only had 14 sign up for that. So URI and I decided that would be enough where we could do it in just one session from 10 to 12. And that's the way it's set up. I had several stragglers get back to me later on Thursday after I'd gotten back to the college and said they'd forgotten about it. URI said that they would try to accommodate them. And so you can attend that, but the first choice for seats in that little classroom and everything is going to go to the 14 that signed up on time. Right now, I don't know how many seats are there, but the 14 of you that signed up ahead of time, and you know who you are because I sent out an email on that, when you get there on tomorrow by 10, go in and grab a seat in the classroom, depending on how many seats are left over. Others of you that were sort of the extras, you can take those extra seats, or you can wheel in a chair from the counting room, which is directly behind the whiteboard that Jeff teaches from. And your lap will have to be your desk. And again, we'll go from 10 to 12. Quite a bit of that time is going to be doing calculations, although you will go down to the reactor to put a source in the rabbit. But we should finish up by 12 noon. That's the schedule for tomorrow. There are sufficient chairs for the extras in the counting room. And they're usually on wheels, so you just wheel them over. Any questions on tomorrow? Okay. And again, if you want to bring your lunch, you can eat at the end of the lab. Nobody's going to throw you out. I would say if you have any questions on the 2 labs that you did last week or the lab we're going to do tomorrow, take some time to chat with Jeff while you're there tomorrow, because after we leave tomorrow, that place is shutting down to the following Monday. The only reason they're there tomorrow is a professional courtesy to me and us to offer that optional lab. So they're out of there to celebrate Thanksgiving after we leave tomorrow. Okay. The only other thing I want to go over before I hand out the exams is when I will be back here this afternoon. I'll probably be here till 7 o'clock or so, just taking care of stuff. I have a major project for the dean and the president that I'll be finishing up this afternoon. Professor Abel is coming out this afternoon. We always go out and have a little holiday cheer at the Mohegan Sun. So we're going out there later this afternoon, but I will be back here afterwards if you need to see me on anything. After tomorrow at URI, I will be coming back to the college, and I have some things I have to do, including getting the stipend list ready for the scholarship students for the December stipend. I also should have a report back from accounting as to how much money I might have left in the kitty. And usually I try to award money that I have left in the kitty to deserving students that are not scholarship students. And this could be money towards tuition fees, books, stipend. It sort of depends on how much money is left over. And the things that I look for the non-scholarship students are you meeting the requirements of the scholarship program, which is full-time, grade point average of 2.5, and you can graduate in May. And then for right now, I'm also looking at Have you applied for graduation by the deadline of last Monday that I asked you for? But you can still turn that in up through tomorrow at 4 when I'm here. Have you submitted your plan of study that I can approve? I've already signed off on all of them that were to me on time and given them down to the registrar. Also, for those of you that did course substitution forms, I signed off on all of those and given them to the dean last week. So if any of you still have things to give me, because I have not done the tally on everything yet, because some of the stuff comes in an email in a different format for like graduation applications. But I do plan before I leave tomorrow to send the December stipend list to accounting. And if I have extra money for anybody that qualifies, I will try to give you some money accordingly. And that's that. So if you have anything you owe me that you have not done, you get it to me by 4 o'clock tomorrow. I will still consider you for that extra money. If not, I will do this again in May when I look to see how much money I might have at the end of the spring semester. And that's sort of it for now. Any questions on anything back to me? If not, I'm going to go and send you, first of all, the reactive theory exam. Any questions?
Professor, I have one question.
Yes.
It's about the meeting that you said with that you said would be like the first Friday in December with all of the like colleges or like job people.
Yes, I have sent out an email to all the 33 people on my advisory committee, and I've asked if any of them are looking to hire or to bring in people as summer interns, etc., to get back to me, or if they're department chairs at like UMass Lowell for nuclear, health physics, UConn mechanical, University of New Haven mechanical, to get back to me, and I want to set up a time where I can direct interested students to chat with them one-on-one. I've heard from part of them. I've not heard from all of them. I'm also waiting to see how many of you are interested in chatting with people from like Electric Boat, Canberra Instruments, etc. If you're looking for a job and you want to chat with people, or if you're looking to continue your education. I know, for example, I just chatted with a guy from the chair from nuclear from UMass Lowell, and he said he is chatting right now with 3 of you to sort of grease the skids to get you admitted to the program and get up and running for next fall. So if you're interested, let me know what you might be interested in, either a job or continue your education. And then I'm waiting to hear back from the others. Probably we will not do all of these on Friday. I will stagger them out because you might, let's say, want to chat with 2 or 3 different people. So I'm going to set up times where anybody wants to chat with just the nuclear guy at UMass Lowell, there will be a period of time. Anybody wants to chat with the health physics guy from UMass Lowell, a certain period of time. Anybody wants to chat with a guy from Electric Boat, a different time, so that I don't have to worry about more people being in there that are just sort of hanging on. They're really interested in what's going on. So if you know you're interested in something, get back to me. When I start to hear from the people that are available from business and industry and academia, I will get back to you and let you know who is available in specific and the time periods that we're looking at for the talks. That answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And also, as I think I mentioned to you before, the period, particularly if you're deciding to go on to continue your education, the period where most people apply for extra scholarships, actually apply to programs, usually runs between 1 November and 1 February. And as some of the major scholarships have come in, I have sent them off to you. Every year, there are a lot of American Nuclear Society, DOE, NRC, et cetera, scholarships that do not get taken because people did not apply for them. So if you're interested in continuing your education, now is the time to start to apply for scholarship consideration. And if you're in the program, I'd be happy to write you a letter of recommendation because most of them require 1 or 2 letters of recommendation. And I wouldn't put this off till the end of January because you might forget it, might have snowstorms, who knows what's going to happen. So if you apply, I'd encourage you to do it at least between Christmas and when we start classes again in January. Anything else?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Yes.
When we hand in the notebook at the end of the semester with our notes for reactor theory, I believe you had said we had to do the questions in the back of the book. Was it all of the questions in all of the chapters or just the ones we went over?
It was for the, I'll use reactor theory as an example. I basically lectured or covered chapters 2, 3, 4, and then 8, 9, and we'll be doing 10 starting next week. So your notebook is not notes from my lectures or anything like that. It's problems you have worked in those chapters at the end of each chapter. So if I look at, I went through this when we started the semester. So if I randomly pick chapter 4, we'll randomly look at chapter 4. The problems start on page 107 and go over to 108. And there are 15 of them. So you might have worked some of these, most of these, maybe you might have done all of these. You would have put these in a notebook. Same thing if I go to chapter 8.
So he doesn't even care about the notes in class.
I'm sure 8 people are shook right now.
So if I go to chapter 8, for example, those problems start on page 239 and go through page 241, and there are 15 of those problems. So again, you might have worked some of them, most of them, all of them. If you do not turn in a notebook, it's not going to hurt you. If you do turn in a notebook, I'm going to see how many you've done, the caliber of work that you've done, and it's my sole discretion as to how I apply that to your draft grade. So if your draft grade, let's say for reactor theory, was a B, and you don't turn in anything, you don't have any other extra credit from anything, unless you take the final, the B is your grade. If you do turn in your notebook and you work some problems, but you haven't set the world on fire, I have unilaterally the ability to change that to a B+, A-, or A. If you've done most of the problems, you've done a good job on it, I have no problems for changing that to an A. My call, once I look at your notebook. But it's not the notes or what I presented in class, it's what you've done at the end of those chapters. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to go and send you the reactive theory exam, and I'll go over that with you. Okay, I've just sent you that exam. I'll give you a minute or two to get it and open it. And and then I'll go over it with you. Okay, have you opened it up? Okay, I'll go over this with you. Okay, the total exam is 100 points, but you also have 12 points of extra credit, so it is possible to get 112 on the exam. So if I start off on problem 1, I'm giving you a homogeneous reactor with 3 moderators and 3 fuels, and I've given you specific properties below. It is a bare reactor, and you're using one group theory, which means everything is thermal. So I've given you the 3 moderators, A, B, and C, any information you might need. I've given you the 3 fuels, one of which is uranium-238, with any and all information you might need. I then want to know what is K infinity for this fuel moderator mixture, and I want to know what is buckling for this fuel moderator mixture. Then I want you to take this fuel moderator mixture and place it into a rectangular shape with the extrapolated height being 3/4 of the extrapolated width and 1/2 of the extrapolated depth. I'm telling you that the maximum flux is 9.4 times 10 to the 18th neutrons per square centimeter per second. And we know it's thermal because it's one group. So I want you to calculate for me X sub G, Y sub G, and Z sub G. I want you to find the flux at the point -4, +3, -2. I want to know what the neutron current density J sub X is at that same point. And then finally, I want to know what is the overall neutron current density at that point. That's the 100-point exam. It's due Wednesday of next week at 12:30. For extra credit, and each of these is worth 3 points. If we place our mixture in a cube shape, the value D will increase, decrease, stay the same, and I want you to justify your answer. For the next one, if we operate our reactor over time, B, the buckling value, will increase, decrease, remain the same. I want you to justify your answer there. The next one, if we use two-group theory, the B value will increase, decrease, or remain the same. Justify your answer there. And then finally, and this is a little blurry because the printer didn't print it too well, if you plan to add a blanket to this bare reactor, and you can make the blanket out of one of the moderators listed above and one of the fuels listed above, which two would you pick and why? So each of those are worth 12 points. For at least two of those, you'd have to do a little bit more reading in the book, but you have 9 days to do it. Those are not mind-bending questions. If you read through there, they're readily obtainable. Do I have any questions on the reactor theory exam? Again, it's open book, open note, open anything, but I expect it to be your own work, and I require your honesty, the honor statement when you submit your exam. You have till next Wednesday, but you know you're going to get 2 quizzes on Monday, so I would encourage you to do it between now and Monday, but that's up to you. Any questions on this one? Okay, I'm now going to send out to you the nuclear material science. Hey, I just sent that one out to you. And as soon as you've got that, let me know. And I will go through that one with you. Okay, thank you. You've got it open. So let me go through this with you. Okay? In this particular case, the exam is basically worth 100 points, but I've included the extra credit in the write-up as is. So the exam is really worth 100, but it is possible for you to get 108 points on this. So let me go through this. I've given you a cross-section shown below. All dimensions are in centimeters. And basically, I have 2 rectangles, 1 semicircle, 1 triangle, and 1 semi-ellipse. I've also applied a 2-dimensional moment, which I have shown, which is 22,000 Newton meters, and it's at an angle of 32 degrees from the plus x-axis. So, for the cross-section as shown above, I want you to calculate and then show the neutral axis. Then I want you to label the tension and compression areas. Next, I want you to calculate its rectangular moment of inertia value for that cross-sectional shape and orientation. Then I want you to rotate the cross-section 90 degrees, and I then want you to calculate and show that neutral axis, and again label for that the tension and compression areas. Then calculate the rectangular moment of inertia that's associated with that cross-section shape. I then want to know what is the plane stress at point A, which is that very bottom tip of the triangle. And then I've told you for above, the rectangles are all aluminum 6061. The triangle is anneal yellow brass. The semicircle is anneal copper. The semi-ellipse is structural steel. And what I want you to do is to convert each of those cross-sectional views to one material of your choice, and then show me the dimensions in each cross-sectional view. I do not want you to find the neutral axis. I do not want you to find the rectangular moment of inertia. I want you to take, for example, as you see it there now, I want you to take it, convert it all to one material, and then show me with dimensions what that cross-section looks like. Then when you look at the cross-section that's been rotated 90 degrees, I want you to do the same thing again. Use the material that you have selected, convert everything to that material, and just show me what that new cross-section with dimensions looks like. I'm not looking for neutral axis, eye calculations, stress calculations, anything like that. I would think you should be able to do this in about 1 hour and 15 minutes, maybe 1 hour and a half. But since we got a little late start here, I'm going to give you till 3:30, and I'm going to send Professor Lance an email that tells him we started on our exam a little late, and that he'll start class with you today at 3:30. Any questions on this exam? Again, show all work, because I can't give you partial credit unless you show me what you're doing. Again, I expect this to be only your work, and I require the honor statement at the end of it. Anything else? Questions? It's pretty straightforward. F, yes. So the two rectangles are made out of aluminum 6061. The triangle is made out of yellow brass. Semicircle is made out of neo copper. Semi-ellipse is made out of structural steel. I want you to take that cross-sectional shape and convert it to all one material. And you can pick whichever one you want. The aluminum, the yellow brass, the copper, or the structural steel. And then you show me what that cross-section looks like when you have converted it to that one material. Then you're going to rotate cross-section 90 degrees, and then you're going to show me what the cross-section looks like in that orientation when you've converted it all to one material. Any other questions? Okay, good luck on the exam. Again, you'll have till 3:30. I will be in my I will stay here for about 10 minutes just in case you have any questions. I'll be in my office up until about 4 o'clock working on the project for the dean and the president. Then I'm heading out to meet Professor Abel at Mohegan Sun, a couple of adult beverages, and I'll probably be back in my office by 6:15. Otherwise, for those of you I'll see tomorrow at URI, I'll see you there by 10. For the others that are not going, have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see everybody next Monday. Okay, good luck on the exams. Take care.